view of gender and of male and female. And this is why you might have heard that people say that the feminist movement, it gave way to the trans movement. And now it kind of makes sense. Because the feminists were the first people to say, what God defined as gender, we rebel against that. We reject that idea. We were the ones to say that, you know what, we don't care about gender anymore. We can just completely rebel what God has said about gender. So what's to stop a man from doing that too? If we said that, I can just change what the Bible has said about my gender, what's to stop a man from putting on lipstick and heels and saying that as well? And that is how we have landed in 2025. It's an anti-biblical view of womanhood and of gender. And what's ironic is that historians will call the people that I mentioned, people like John Stuart Mill, they'll call them reformers. But the feminist movement was not a reformation. It was a defamation. It was not about building women. It was not about building anything. It was all about destroying. It was all about deforming what God had instituted. It was all about destroying roles. It was all about destroying gender. It was all about destroying femininity. See, the very definition of reform is to bring something back to its original condition. To reform something, when we say we want a reformation of the scripture, we say we want to return to the biblical values. A reformation is to return something to its previous condition, to restore to a state of peace. So the feminist movement was not a reformation. It was the complete opposite. It saw what was in the beginning in the Garden of Eden, and it destroyed it. It destroyed gender. A true reformation would be to return how God defined men and women in the garden to begin with. A true reformation would be to return to a biblical view of male and female, of husbands and wives, pre-fall, before sin entered the world. That is what a true reformation would look like.